Boom shakalaka, guys. We are in the house, of course. You like that? I'm bringing it back.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back. This is, what episode is this?
21.
Episode 21. We're still here. We're still cooking. You guys have joined us.
We can legally drink now. Yes.
Woo! All right, guys. Let's do a quick round the horn. Frank, how's your week?
Quiet for the first time in a while. It's been quiet. No complaints. No news is good news.
I love it. Mr. Pro Collector Yeezy.
Comic Palooza digging, wore me out, and editing content also does not help. So yeah, just looking forward to Baltimore.
Right on. Bird City's had a pretty busy week. I don't know if you guys have seen the website, but I have some very passive aggressive news I put up there because everybody keeps sending me those messages. How come I haven't gotten my order? Because your book's not out yet. So I put a little calendar of release dates. But that's my passive aggressive way of saying when you order books, just either look at the date or refer to the guide I've made, and you'll know when your books are coming. But other than that, guys, we're getting ready. We're going to talk about a really cool subject. Sorry, I'm clicking.
My bad.
Comic book video games. Super cool, man.
Oh, I've wanted to talk about this for a very long time because I have a lot of feelings about this. So, but I'll keep them to myself for now.
Okay. So we got comic book feelings from the Gogol. I'm kind of like 50-50. I'm waiting for somebody to sell me on this subject because I've only played a couple of good ones. I know you guys were talking backstage, got some experience in this field. It's going to be a good one, guys. So make sure you stick around. What do we got next?
So we're still on our road to 1,000. We are closing in on 900. We are 20 away right now. So when we hit 900 subscribers, we're giving away this Sam Wilson Captain America #1 hip hop variant cover. And we're going to sweeten the pot. If by episode 23, so 2 weeks from now, we hit 900, Aaron's going to throw in that Something is Killing the Children #1 8th print. That's right. I said 8th print, which is, for the people who care about that kind of stuff, the first cover appearance of the initials title, right?
Right. So, normally you always see the...
whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, because, everyone that briefs it SIKTC, so it's in the, on this cover versus, having the full drawn-out name. So I thought it was
somebody got lazy on us is what you're saying. Got it.
I don't know.
Those boom people. They're smart.
Can I sweeten the pot a little bit?
Yeah. Throw some sugar in there, boy.
All right, guys. This is what I want to do. We got 20 more subs. We got enough people here talking. Let's bring this up multiple times throughout the night, guys. But if we hit that 20 sub mark, tell your friends to go there right now. Sub it up. We're going to do a giveaway for a comment tonight. How about that? I just got in the Moon Knights. I got the trades, and I got trades and virgins. I'm talking a complete set. If we hit the 20 subs tonight, text message your friends, tell them to do it. We are going to pick a comment towards the end of the show. If we hit the 20 subs, I will put this in the mail in a day or two from now once I'm done sorting through them.
And that is that a $30 value?
$35 plus the shipping, about $40. I got you.
All right, I'm about to go sub.
There you go. So guys, sub out, text your friends, let them know. If we hit those 20 subs tonight, we will pick a comment. I will send you a free set of that Moon Knight book, which is all kinds of badass. But let's get it there. All right, what's next?
All right, so on to the topic. All right, so we're talking comic book video games. How to start this one? Let's go around and just overview. What's your experience with them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are you sort of in between? Do you not care?
Okay.
Before we do that, I want to give some shout outs real quick.
Yeah,
give some shout outs.
How's it going, Jay Burns? What's up, Nigel Tunson? Frank Gogol, are you here? Let's see, Sean Butler, what's up? How's it going, Josh Gouster? Gouster, what's going on, man? Long time no see.
What up?
Andrew Lehman, how's it going, man? Sean Butler, Lucy, great show.
Absolutely.
And Eric Lampson, evening.
Congratulations to Lucy for winning that bet. I cannot wait to see those cosplays over on Comic Book.
Oh, dude, I saw that in my because I have an Amazon business account, so I get the notifications. I'm like, why the hell do I need a Captain Marvel glow up suit? And I'm like, Laura, what is this? She's like, you can write it off. I'm like, oh my god,
spoilers, bro.
You spoiled it for everyone.
Oh, was I not supposed to say?
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a surprise. But at least you don't know Jen's cosplay, so you can catch it on Tuesday next week.
So just real quick question for everyone in the comments. I've got the stream running over on my other monitor, and for me, I've only got the upper corner, not the whole screen. Is that just me, or is that everybody else too?
What are you talking about?
So I've got Like I can see you and me in like the top corner of the slide, but I can't see Aaron or the rest of the slide in YouTube.
Oh, okay. It looks good on YouTube.
Okay, so it's just me.
It's just you.
Just wanted to make sure because we had that sound stuff a while back, and just like to stay on top of these things.
I love it.
Since we don't have Tim tonight to let us know. All right, so let's go around. We'll start with you, Ant. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you indifferent? What's your favorite one?
So I'm super indifferent on this because Laura tells me my superpower, and it's the greatest thing about me and the worst thing about me is I'm super loyal. I'm brand loyal. I am friend loyal. Like I will go down with the ship loyal. And I've had Xboxes forever. So all I've gotten to play are the Arkham games. And a few other retro back ones. And I have wanted to play Spider-Man to have it compare against it, but I cannot bring myself to buy a PlayStation. Brand loyalty. So I don't have a lot of experience. I know Marvel, a lot of those games are that new Avengers game came out, but it's like take a turn, like these really deep RPG action games that I would be super into, just not on my platform.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need to switch platforms, bro.
Don't even start with me, bro.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is kind of sideways of the conversation, but I was pretty Xbox loyal for a while too, and I had the Xbox One first. And the further into that generation of consoles we got, the more I played my PS4. Like I wasn't like 100% brand loyal, but I always bought things I could get on either system for Xbox, and I just slowly drifted over. I don't think I've turned on my Xbox in a year.
See, and I know it. I know the gaming experience. Everybody says it's better on PlayStation, but my whole house is integrated into our Xboxes. Like our Alexas control our Xboxes, control all of our media, my streaming, my cloud music. The kids can watch anything in any room. PlayStation doesn't do all those goodies. Just
plug the PlayStation into a different HDMI. Think about it.
Don't offer me easy solutions, okay?
All right, Aaron. How about you? All right. How do you feel? What's your experience? What's your history? Do you give a shit?
All right, so history of video games. I used to waste all my quarters like playing Galaga. That was the first game I started out on. But I mean, we're talking about classics. Like I played the X-Men arcade game.
You're not old enough for that.
I'm 35, man.
I know, but I'm 30. I'm 37, and I don't play Galaga.
I love Galaga, and I'm the youngest person here.
Yeah, so I mean, my family used to have a restaurant, and it was like attached to a motel, and then it had pinball machine and Galaga. So those were your choices. Yeah, so I mean, and this is in the middle of Louisiana, like first Chinese restaurant in the city. So kind of
that's a whole separate. I was gonna say that's a whole separate conversation.
That's next episode.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I have questions. I mean, that's first Chinese restaurant in Louisiana, and the only games you have is pinball and Galaga. This is a whole separate episode.
Yeah. So I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too. Yeah.
Please join us for the after hours episode.
I got to know things.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, fast forward a little bit. Started playing Street Fighter. Wasted way too many quarters on that, and then eventually, we got our personal console systems. NES, Super Nintendo. So I'll bring up the games when we start getting into the real meat of the conversation, and then fast forward even faster. PlayStation 2 was my console of choice. Then I got a PS3. I did have an Xbox 360 before I got my PS3. And then I bought a PS4. So, and then when I got deeper into comics and podcasting, I started scaling back on video games.
Nice. Yeah, that'll do it. You got to give up something. Something's got to give. Frank, what is your experience with said gaming systems?
If I was going to make a scale, 1 being a very, very, very casual player and 10 being like I play games all the time, I'd say I'm like somewhere around 5 or 6. Like I like to play video games to keep up with them. I don't have a lot of time to do it. The last year and a half has been a little bit easier about that for my life, so I've caught up on a lot of things. I love comic book video games. I am constantly disappointed by them. And for a lot, we're kind of in a golden age now. There's been a lot of really good ones the last maybe 5 or 10 years, but on the whole, they're fucking cash grabs for movies.
Yeah,
they piss me off.
So let's take it
just real quick. Jonathan, did we just become best friends?
Oh my gosh, you guys gonna go do karate in the garage now? What?
Yeah.
Why are they gonna do karate?
You
haven't seen Step Brothers?
Step Brothers?
Oh, okay.
Oh, man,
another episode. Another episode.
Movies that we haven't seen that you should have seen.
Oh, dude, that would be a great episode. What what was I going to say? Okay, so the general consensus is we've all had some experience at one point or another. Let's go back in time, guys. Take me back to the first, let's say, pop culture type game that you remember playing and your experience with it. Let's do a little history here. Who wants to kick that off?
I'll go first because I have a really good one. It's not a comic book video game, but it is a piece of pop culture that was translated to a video game, and it is wildly underappreciated in the video game canon, and it is the Wayne's World video game for Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Wow. Wayne's World.
I don't even love the movie that much, but the game was so much fucking fun to 6 or 7 year old me. You're Wayne, and you're running around with the guitar, and you strum the guitar to shoot like a beam at like the bad guys, and like and your head is oversized like you're a human Funko Pop,
almost like Beavis and Butthead style.
Even bigger, honestly.
Wow,
but like it's ridiculous. That and or just for a comic book related one, I loved the Spider-Man games for Super Nintendo as well. Maximum Carnage, Separation Anxiety. I think there was another one, but they were all really good, even if they weren't that good.
Nice. Okay. Yi, do you have one?
So the first game that I probably remember spending way too much time playing would have to be Street Fighter 2. Even though I never really got any good. I was better when I was younger, but then like as I got older, like I just got interested in different things. The comic video game that probably affected my life probably the most was probably the TMNT game or the X-Men, side scrollers. Those are so much fun.
Yeah. All right. 1992 was the year. The Simpsons Game.
Oh, classic.
Which one? Like Bart's Nightmare?
No, it's the Space Mutants.
Too. Okay.
I spent hours upon hours in that game, and it was all kinds of badass because I thought Bart was like the coolest thing. Bad boy. I wanted to be Bart-esque. Say some crazy shit and get away with it. So yeah, I dug Bart. Bart was my guy.
I need to go back. I need to revise my statement. Wayne's World was an excellent game, but I'm thinking
I see what you did there. It's excellent.
I'm thinking about it, and there was one better game that I loved playing. I played it all the time. They say Avengers Endgame was the most ambitious crossover in history. I present counter to that Robocop versus Terminator, the video game.
Ooh. Nice choice.
I spent a lot of hours playing.
Do y'all remember the Avengers side scroller?
Yeah, War of the Gems.
Yeah,
super good, but also not that good.
The other one that popped in my head, but I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess it would be pop culture because they brought it back around. I don't know if it's ever been a comic. What about Battletoads?
I never played that. I'm familiar with the title.
I've heard of it. Your age might be showing this.
Am I showing my age a little bit there? Dude, I remember waking up early for school to play it before I went to school, like every day. It was ridiculously awesome. All right, if anybody remembers Battletoads, so I'm not nuts, everybody go, yeah, Battletoads was the shit, put it in the comments. All right, so that was our earliest experience that we can remember where we dumped hours into a video game. I think we've all got some opinions on this one. Let's flip the coin here. Let's get into a game that you wanted to play. Earliest memory, now memory, you got it, and you were super disappointed with it.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Where you're like, this is going to be the shit. You ordered the pizza, you got the Cheetos, you got the Mountain Dew ready.
You rented it from Blockbuster, and it sucked.
Yes, you rented it from Blockbuster.
Or you bought it, and it sucked. I got it. So regular Nintendo.
Kick us off.
The Wolverine game. Who remembers that one? Anyone?
I remember not being able to beat it.
Yeah, so if you play that, like you cannot kill any of the enemies or anything like that. You can't block anything. The only way to beat the game is straight up speed running through it, like just skipping out through everything. It's a competition thing nowadays, but like, when you're 10, 8, you don't know that.
Yeah, it's speed runs. It's funny. Speed runs were like invented for games that were terrible. It's like, how fast can you get through it because it's so bad? And it became a competition.
Yeah.
You got one, Gogol? Or do you want me to do mine?
I'm racking my brain over it. I can't really think of one that like was a straight up awful disappointment. There are a lot of games I've been really underwhelmed by and not finished, but nothing in immediate that I'm like, that's the one.
So this was a little weird one. But do you guys remember they did a Catwoman video game based on the Halle Berry movie?
Wait, I rented that. Yep, that's the one. I call that one.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Do your thing.
All right,
I got a backup.
This is the easiest way to put it. You know how bad the movie was? The game was somehow worse. And that's all you need to know.
Wow.
I don't even know why I rented it because I hadn't seen the movie yet. And I don't like Halle Berry for any more than anyone else. Like, I'm not sure what was going on. I must have rented it for free or something. I don't know.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, because I have 2 on my list. There's that one. I'm probably gonna get some shit for this one, but do you guys remember the Matrix video game?
Nope.
Yeah. That was like a whole period around there where like they're doing a lot of movie adaptations. Like Lord of the Rings had a set.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of like okay.
The best thing to do in that game was dodge bulletsy, because it's that whole we're doing this shit, and they did like the slow motion wall runs, and you're going up the wall, and you're like, this is badass, and then you go to shoot, and your character just falls down, lands his feet, it's like pop, like there was no flow to it. So you lose, like it starts looking super cool, and you're like, this is gonna be badass, and then the animation just dies at the end, and you're like, well, this is a big fucking turd now. Just the little things.
So this kind of reminds me, like when I was a PC gamer. Do you remember the game Half-Life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Counter-Strike, before it became its own game, was a mod for Half-Life. And then when Steam came out, they started creating like all these their own games. There was a Matrix-esque game where it was like on the Steam engine, and then you could like side scroll, like float, like actually like good Matrix video game, and you like had like limited space of how many weapons you could add. So it sounds like, they reinvented that game for that reason.
There you go. So here's a question I want to raise to both of you. You guys have heard the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It's more fun to talk about the negatives than the positives anyway. There are some games we'll love. We'll definitely touch on those. But let's dig into, why do these guys keep creating bad content when we have history of character creation so they can get a story right? Or we've got these badass studios. Like, video games to me are ran by nerds, where movie companies are run by money. I mean, there's probably a nerd or two mixed in, and that's what we complain about when a movie comes out. You're like, oh, that movie was terrible. They must not be fans. They must not know. Some guy with money says this is a good property. It's popular. I'm going to buy it. We're going to do this. Right on. And you get this half-assed story approach to it, or the characters are completely different, like Electro from Spider-Man when Jamie Foxx played him. Fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? But then you get to these video game companies, and they're run by nerds, because you got to be smart to do that. So there's got to be these guys in there that have some of this know-how, and we still end up with this shit. Catwoman, who thought that was a good idea?
I have a couple ideas on why this might be. I don't work for a video game company. I never have, but I kind of understand the entertainment industry a little bit. First things first, it's probably a timeline issue, right? These movies come out, they want to capitalize on them and create spin-off toys and video games and all that, and the production cycles just are too tight. Like, you look at some of these really great games that come out, they take years to make. The Assassin's Creed games, which we've been playing lately, they have like a 5-year production cycle, and they stagger cycles across teams so that way they can be developing multiple games at the same time, so they release every year. That's the kind of commitment you need to make a good game, at least today. I gotta imagine that these guys get like 6 months, maybe a year. The other thing is, I think that the thing that makes a game successful is good mechanics, right? Like some interesting, like if you look at all the Zelda games, every single one, they introduce a new mechanic. It's got the same kid, Link, different versions of him. The world is a lot the same. You got the Mount Doom or whatever of Hyrule. All the elements are there, but it's always like, all right, you have this mask that changes what powers you have. You have an ocarina that travels you through time, and those playing mechanics really are what make the game interesting over and over and over again. And these other games never ever have, like the video game, especially movie adaptations, never have any kind of interesting mechanic whatsoever. Right? It's just you're Wolverine, you have claws, beat up some bad guys. You're Captain America, beat up some bad guys, throw the shield. Like, I mean, it's pretty basic.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense too, because you're right. Like, if you've got a property that you're going to release, like a movie media, you're going to want the lunchbox, the underwear, the T-shirt to come all out around the same time. And yeah, that doesn't leave a lot of room for development. So that makes a lot of sense. What's your 2 cents?
On just like movies, like starting to Rush Out. Oh, okay. I got a good one. Who remembers the Back to the Future video game? Like that was the worst video game. One of the worst video games ever. It was for NES. Like,
Oh, no.
but you couldn't even do anything. You know, it was probably as bad as like the ET or Atari game. Like where it's like you
The
walk
one that
2
they
steps.
dumped into that landfill in New Mexico.
Yep. And, yeah, it's like you walk 2 steps and then you're dead. You know, so you know, it kind of reminds me of The Simpsons. You know, when Milhouse is putting in all those quarters to play Waterworld. And then he takes 2 steps and it's like insert more quarters to continue, and it's like $5 or whatever.
Yeah, right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I think with the franchise games though, I get that you want to do things around movies. Maybe that was a theme then. You know, Matrix came out, Matrix video game, terrible Catwoman movie, terrible Catwoman game. But I mean, these characters are so established. Like the Spider-Man, I think they do well with. Batman, they do well with, but that's it.
Well, I mean, yeah, even with Spider-Man, like the classic PlayStation game or PlayStation 2, you know, that was a classic. Like everyone loved that game.
Those are both really good games. But the thing that makes Spider-Man games stand out, even if it's kind of the same across each version, is that it's got a unique mechanic, right? You swing around Manhattan, right, and you fight as Spider-Man. Like there's you flipping around and all that bullshit. Same thing with Batman. Like the Arkham games are so good, especially the first one because it was new at the time, because they put so much work into making sure that you were fucking Batman, right? Sneaking around the shadows. You got the grappling hook, deep cuts to the rogues gallery. Like, I mean, it really was, I don't want to call it a masterpiece, but it's a masterpiece. The other two that came after it are probably better, but they don't have that. Like if you played Arkham Asylum first, like that's the one, right? Like that created the formula and then they perfected it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that the story has, you know, a lot of this too might be just the generation. So like my 11-year-old, we play a lot of Fortnite, right? We could win a lot of Fortnite, but we don't because he gets bored after 5 seconds if we're not shooting at something. Where I hear you. Batman, to play as Batman, you got to work in the shadows. You got to attack from different angles. You know, what do they call it? Stick and move. But this generation can't handle that. So we end up with more zombies, slashers, not super heavy story-driven games. And these things, I think, need that as a backbone in order for the game to succeed. It's got to have a good story to them because that's what they're built on.
That's interesting to me because I've got the exact opposite view. Like I spent the last year and a half catching up on games from the last 5 years or so, and everything I played was extremely story-driven. Like Last of Us Part 2, all the Uncharted's, the Resident Evil remakes that they've been re-releasing, like that's all really slow and methodical and story driven. Like all those Naughty Dog games are basically story, and then you shoot in between the scenes, right? Like those games, there's not a lot going on there. But like I definitely see what you're saying. There's some games that are, like you know, Star Wars Battlefront. A lot of these like microtransaction games where you can get skins. Like I've never played Fortnite, but I definitely get what you're getting at. But I wonder because I was thinking about this a little while ago. I couldn't think of a movie video game adaptation, and I could be wrong, but from like the last 10 years, like early on in the MCU, there was one for Captain America and Thor.
Here, I got one for you.
Okay.
So you know, DC's doing an animated series for animated movie for Injustice. So that was a fighting video game based off a comic book, and you know,
I think the video game came before the comic book actually.
Did it? I don't know.
I think it came out in 2012, and Tom Taylor started writing the book in maybe 2015.
Okay, so I mean, you know, it launched off a huge story arc too, like they did each years, and you know, continued on. But I mean, for that video game, you know, it's great for an hour, but then it gets boring because you're basically playing, Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter or whatever, on with DC characters, and then they even tried like doing crossovers with that stuff, where it was DC versus Mortal Kombat, and those never work. Another example is like Street Fighter versus Tekken. That was a horrible game because Tekken, you have that round circle that you're fighting on, and Street Fighter is just linear. And then when you try to like put a sidestepping character in a linear plane, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but the mechanics are they could do that, but you just gotta like if you're a team Street Fighter, it wouldn't be what you're used to playing, like the style of play.
Like, so if you choose a Tekken character on a Street Fighter fighting plane and you're fighting a Street Fighter character, like
the Street Fighter character couldn't sidestep. Damn, that's lame.
Well, I mean, like not like Tekken. Like Tekken's a full circle, right?
Right.
You can like sidestep all around on the battlefield, right?
Right.
Versus you know, Street Fighter's like a sidestep, just like one sidestep. Or I mean,
yeah,
this is really basic explanation of it, but like. It's different, like, and they don't mash together.
It's not what you're looking for when you think Street Fighter.
There you go. Or Tekken.
Yeah. Like Super Smash Brothers. That thing is super crazy, and I have no idea what's happening when I play that. It's like
just hit the buttons. Just hit the buttons.
Dude, I'm like going to, and I sound professional, but I'm just like random jump, and then Adam's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I'm gonna have a seizure.
Trying to win.
Take this away from me." But yeah. No, it makes
you have a Switch and an Xbox and no PlayStation. What are you doing with your life?
Dude, I got a freaking Wii, the old school Wii. We still play a lot of too.
I play a lot of Wii Sports, Wii Golf.
Yeah. Wii Sports, Wii Golf, all those goodies. We had a Star Wars game, so the controller was like a lightsaber, block and reflect, all kinds of cool shit.
Yeah,
how's it going, Ultra? Welcome in.
I'll give Nintendo that every console they put out is created to push mechanics, right? The Wii was like revolutionary.
Yeah.
Motion controls. And now who's got motion controls too? PlayStation. Who's got a camera that can track your movements? Xbox.
Yep.
And then the Wii U was kind of a bust, but like I saw what they were trying to do there. And I bet in another generation or two we'll see like that technology perfected.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, because remember, like what was the first Sega Genesis came out with a handheld really early, right after Nintendo that was color.
The Game Gear.
Game Gear. Like that was like blowing people's minds. Color screen, all in one.
Backlit,
backlit. Yeah,
heavy as hell. It's like eight AA batteries, ate them up real fast. I remember.
And then PlayStation launched one too. What was theirs called? And they had the disc cartridge.
PSP.
PSP.
And then the Vita. Vita. Yep.
The Vita. Oh my gosh. But yeah, the gaming systems have come a long way. The storytelling is definitely intense. My point I was making earlier was that I think we talked about market. We did a show about this on what you would market towards and what you would gear towards. And I'm sure video games have, a younger generational entity body of kids that want that instant gratification. Hence demographic. That's the word I was looking for. What was I thinking? Among Us, Fortnite, Battlefront, those instant gratification games. I don't know. I don't feel like there's enough of my genre, which is heavy storytelling RPGs, that I've enjoyed recently besides Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, no, I agree on to some extent for sure.
Did you ever play what was it, Ghost of Tsushima? I heard that's supposed to be pretty good. And then
good story.
you can focus on the main story, and then you can side quest all you want. Like, and there's I forget how many hours you can play on it.
I need some kind of guardrails up, or I'll get lost in the weeds. I was talking to somebody about this last night. Actually, I played Oblivion, right, from the Skyrim.
Dude, I was about to say this. Go ahead.
So I play this game, and it starts off awesome. You're like breaking out of a prison, and Patrick Stewart's narrating, get out of the prison. I play for like 35 hours. I'm like a vampire. I'm the pirate king. I've got like a fortune. I killed a dragon. Realized I hadn't even started the main story. So I need some kind of rails to be on, which was why I finished Assassin's Creed 2 days ago. And that game kind of propelled you to do side quests, but you had to do the side quests to move on in the story. Like you had to level up enough. But
so you like an open world with like a linear line kind of thing.
It can be zigzaggy, but it's got to be heading somewhere. Like if there's too much openness, I will absolutely get lost in the weeds and never finish the game. Like Red Dead Redemption was kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that was rough. So I had a rough time with video games for a while. I was super disappointed in all of them. So I spent time modding my PC version of Skyrim, and I've got no bullshit. Almost 45 hours, I think was the last time I checked, of just modding the game, not even playing it. How freaking ridiculous is that?
I hear there are some nice rehab facilities in Arizona.
Dude, my wife's like, what are you playing, Skyrim? I'm like, no, I'm building a fucking house. She's like, for what? And I'm like, I don't know, because I didn't have any ones I like, so I'm going to make one now.
Because it's the only way millennials will ever be able to afford one.
Dude, and I was so bored with everything. There you go. Jeez, that's such a good statement. But yeah, so we talked about, Doug back in the day, dug deep in the crates for what we remembered spending hours in when we were in our early years. What we don't care for. What are some of your guys' favorites? Like, you'll go back to them.
I got a lot actually. Like for all the ones I don't like, I think there's probably one I do like, and they're pretty varied. But like I'll do more recently. I like all the Arkham games. We went over that. They're clutch, especially the first two. I think that Marvel Ultimate Alliance is always a go-to for me. The first one.
Nice.
I think as I've gotten a little older, I've soured on it a little bit, but like I played that game probably 15 times, and it's so cool. Like it's so immersive. It's so much of the Marvel universe. Great cast of characters. Really, just a lot of fun. The second one was a super disappointment compared. The third one less so, but still also disappointing. Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that one was on Xbox back in the 2000s, but that was a lot of fun. Hulk Ultimate Destruction was a Xbox PlayStation 3 era one, I think, that I loved. That was actually pretty good. I could keep going, but the most recent Spider-Mans, like I love the PS4 Spider-Man. Played it twice. The Miles Morales one, I think, perfected the formula. Like it was a little less repetitive.
Nice.
Like the Spider-Man was great, but you had to kind of like beat all these like gang battles throughout the city. It was kind of like repetitive. So the Miles Morales game like cut a lot of that out and really made it essential when you had to do that stuff. And like it was a much smoother game. Both stories are awesome. Like the cinematics in the games are near top notch. They're not photorealistic, but they're gorgeous. And it's just awesome to like hop up on the top of the Empire State Building, just look around New York and see how detailed it all was. Like the PS5 version has like reflections in the glass. So like if you're standing on one building, you look at yourself across, you see, and it's like perfect. It's amazing.
Nice.
That's cool. I dig that. Mine. So I'm a sucker for couch co-ops. Like I like hanging out with people and I like doing people. I'm a team guy. I like accomplishing tasks together. And no bullshit. Some of my favorite games are the Lego games. Lego Harry Potter, Lego Jurassic Park, Lego Avengers. See, look at you're feeling me now, dude. I will put hours into a Lego game. Like I'll just turn it on, and I know one of my kids will be like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Some Lego game." They're like, "Oh, is it cool?" And I'm like, "Slide them a remote," and then, dude, you're set for the next 3-4 hours. It's great. So yes, Lego games are my go-to.
The one gripe I have with Lego games is camera angles. Right, if you're in 2-player and like, one person's in one part of the screen, they're stuck because the other person's on the far end of their screen. There needs to be individual cameras in those games.
Oh, totally. Because and especially when like one kid's like, it's because they're puzzle games too. I don't know if you played a lot of these, but like you're trying to unlock, like break down a wall just to move to the next area. And if you and your teammate aren't on the same page, he's like, it's over here. So he's walking this way. And I'm like, no, dude, stupid ass, get over here. And we're walking opposite ways, but we're not really moving anywhere because the camera's already gone wide enough.
Yeah.
That gets annoying.
I've played a couple with some friends that, I think the Lego Batman was probably the last one. Like I played a couple levels on. Yeah,
that's a cool one. My kids fight over who gets to be Superman. It's hilarious.
Those games are great. The one I did not like is Harry Potter. Like it just felt immersive. Like it was like cool to go all the places in Harry Potter to sell the characters, but like just didn't feel like it had any scope or story going on. Right? It's just like do things.
It felt like going to Harry Potter Land. Like they gave you a game to experience the world, but there was no like. It didn't feel like it had an ultimate purpose at the end because they called it years 1, years 2, year 3, and
Star Wars ones are kind of similar too.
Yeah, I was gonna say about the Lego games. The cool thing about those, it's inclusive for all. Like you don't have to be a pro gamer to like be good at the game. Like you can just be a casual gamer to jump on and play it, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's I'm 33 and I enjoy those games. Ant's like 600 and he enjoys those games. There's anyone can enjoy these games.
But yeah, it's good stuff. That's my go-to. I feel like I have the winner go-to since you guys all brought some fillings up. That's what we're here to do. Look at Lego games all day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So some of my favorite games, obviously fighters are always a classic, but I mean, the superhero stuff. All right, whatever. But I agree with Gogol. The Spider-Man game, amazing. I haven't played the Miles one yet. I was trying to hope to get a PS5, but that just never happened. Then, I'm not holding my breath. So I might just like buy the one for the PS4, but I don't even know when I would have time to actually play. So I don't know if I would waste my money on that. But I know it's really good. But so I probably will waste my money on that. And what game? Oh, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2. That's a game I will play over and over again. I know it's like kind of up in the air if that counts or whatever, but there is a trade paperback, but it was based off the video game. And then they gave a free comic if you bought it from Target. So
that's cool. See, that's like totally in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, so it's a mini comic that was exclusive to Target.
So we've got a question in the comments that I think is a good part of this conversation. It's do y'all have a that there you go, because we did the same question for TV or movies, maybe like God, what was the topic? I don't know. Either way, there's the reverse version, right? There's comic books that inspire video games, and then vice versa, right? Gears of War was a video game first, and then it has a comic book.
Right.
The Witcher was a game first and has a comic book. I'm trying to think of others. Off the top of my head, I don't think I have one that's cross media like that, going that way. But I'm sure that I've played some.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of.
I can think of two off the top of my head. First would be the Deadpool video game. I enjoyed that. It's not like
we're going the other way.
We're going the other way.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
a video game, and then they made a comic book out of it.
Oh.
We talked about this with like franchises, right? Like Buffy was TV and then became comics. That's when we talked about it. Let's think on that and come back to it, because I definitely have.
Yeah. I'm racking my brain trying to think about it. Somebody's saying Gears of War.
Yeah, I read a couple Gears of War comics. They didn't blow my mind, which is why I didn't read more than a couple.
Oh, I know a popular one, God of War.
Okay, yeah. I read a couple of the God of War comics. I like those. Dark Horse seems to be the publisher that tends to get video game licenses.
Yeah, that makes sense, because they're doing a couple like Steampunk, aren't they doing that right now too? And
yeah.
Oh, everyone's favorite video game, Cyberpunk, right? 2099.
Oh, that's what I meant. Cyberpunk. Yeah.
Oh man.
At least comic book won't crap out on you.
Yeah. I wish I sold mine before the video game release. I was waiting for the whole series to come out and then sell it as a group, and then the game release, because I was expecting, pushback again for another 2 months or whatever.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Well, let's get into the fun segment. What do you guys think? You ready?
Let's real quick talk two more things, or one more thing. What makes a good video game? We talked about the ones we like. We talked about the ones that we haven't liked, specifically with comics. But like, what is it that makes it a good video game? Right.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to kick it off?
I'll go last, because since I had time to think about it.
Okay.
That way, put you guys on the spot.
Easy. Go ahead. Let me think about my answer a little bit.
Okay. Game mechanics is a big thing for video games. Like, if you have horrible controls, like, you can't get anywhere or even get used to like how the game is played, then, or if you like stop playing and jump back in later and you have to restart all the way to the beginning, to me that's like not a good thing.
Like logical game design.
Yeah. So where it's like it's easy to pick back up later. I mean, not saying like if you jump into like a later level and you can't beat it over and over again, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like ease of control use. Graphics, if it has horrible graphics and it's buggy and needs updates every like day or whatever, then to me that's like not even worth my time or my hard drive space.
Do you take graphics into account based on the style of game that you're playing? Because some of them are designed to be lower resolution or cartoony, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like if it gets buggy, like where like you go to a corner and then like it just distorts so much, and then you see like a green box that's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Has that been an issue for a while though? Like I feel like that was like a Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 era issue that has like isn't so common anymore.
I mean, it happens every once in a while, but people have to dig and find it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
so,
and you're talking like the PC end too.
In that vein, though, I think there's a trend in video games right now of releasing unfinished games, or like 80% done games and like patching shit and releasing additional content later, and that pisses me off. If I see a game that doesn't look like it's complete or it's from a publisher who I know does that, I won't buy it. There's no way. And there's a difference. Well, I think there's a difference between additional content and like the main content, right? Like DLC, like Spider-Man had a couple of DLCs that were after the story, right? Like that, and they were great. And I didn't mind paying extra for those. I didn't mind, waiting on them, but I could play the whole game and it looked good and it functioned, and I got the whole story without them. Whereas, like, trying to think of a really prominent one that has been recently. I think Destiny was like a half-baked game that came out, and then they kept trying to patch it and add more stuff, and it really never turned into like a full-fledged game.
But that has like a huge cult following, though, right?
Yeah. Well,
you know what it was with that game is they overpromised and underdelivered on that one. They had this whole setup for you, and you get there, and you're like, oh, it's a level shooter. And they made it seem like it was going to be this role-playing, create a character, whatever, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
Here, I got one for you guys. So to me, my top thing that I need is a clear and well laid out menu for items. Like, I love games that allow a crafting aspect. And then you can pick up multiple items and upgrade and stuff. So, you need materials and this and that. And nothing drives me crazier than a menu that's just not organized and you're not able to find things. And then it makes that crafting experience that they incorporate in the game just not enjoyable. So I give you an example. This goes to your point too, Gogol. No Man's Sky. The ultimate over promise, under deliver game ever. You're going to have multiplayer. There's so many planets, blah, blah, blah. That algorithm created worlds that were super weird. And it was like, that was supposed to happen. I'm like, pretty sure you're not supposed to get this dumbass place. Like, I'm pretty sure we could have done okay without this one, whatever the algorithm did. And then you never ran into players. And then they retract and go, well, it's not multiplayer, but it is. But it wasn't. That stuff drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. That was one that I was really looking forward to when I first heard about it, and like it would just, I wouldn't say necessarily that they over delivered or under delivered and over promised. I think what they promised, they over delivered on, but like a lot of stuff that needed to go with it, like that algorithm is super cool. Like, I mean, even if that game wasn't a success, the technology and frameworks that they developed there are going to be super useful for other games that'll be better later. But yeah, all that other stuff needed to be there too. Like, you just can't have, it's like playing The Sims, but random.
Well, I wonder if they're like afraid to leave things out because they hear what the market wants. They go, oh, people want a multiplayer and we have plans for it, but we're going to tell you that it's there, but it's coming. So all they do is piss everybody off because they did release a multiplayer update, but it came out like a year later. Like,
I think these days, like that game is a lot more robust and like playable, but like they lost me already, so it doesn't matter. All right.
But, we have a quick question from the audience.
Sure.
Do y'all play Dark Souls? Elder Ring is dropping in January.
I have not played a Dark Souls game.
I have not. I think I remember the cover of one of the games, and that's my experience with that franchise.
Yeah, all I know about it, I've heard it's really good, has excellent graphics, but it's hard as hell to play. That's all I know about it.
That's always the review. Is this is great? You're gonna get super frustrated.
Yeah,
hard pass. All right, so for me, mechanics are everything, right? Like, if I'm playing Spider-Man, I want to feel like I'm fucking Spider-Man. And if your gameplay doesn't like deliver on the promise of the premise, I'm out. Like, same thing with Batman, right? Like, I love the Arkham game because I fucking feel like Batman. I played the Avengers game that came out last year, and it was okay, but the mechanics weren't varied enough. Like, outside of playing as Iron Man, like all the other characters felt somewhat similar. And like, when I'm playing as the Hulk, like I want to feel like I'm the Hulk, but like if you're playing like the Hulk feels like playing like Thor, it's not, you're not delivering me a Hulk and Thor game. You're just giving me two brawlers, right? Like, and that's not deep enough for me.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you want your experience to be unique, especially based on the player. If you love them, like if you're a Hulk fan and you punch something, you don't want Thor to do the same damage. It piss you off.
Yeah, or at least to do something different, right? Like,
right.
Thor should be hammers only. Like, he shouldn't ever punch. He should only be using his hammer.
There you go.
Right? That's what makes him Thor.
Yep.
All right. All right. So,
I like all those.
Let's pivot then. Let's look at let's bring up the slides because I made a cool slide this time.
That was cool. I saw that and I was like, good job. That's cool.
It took me a long time to figure out how to do it. I kept fucking it up. And I wanted to get the purple and orange paddle, right? So that way like the gradient would match, but I couldn't find a picture of the purple and orange paddles. Anyway, that was my struggle today. Let's talk about what the perfect video game looks like then. The perfect comic book video game. I've got a list of a few things that would go into kind of pitching what that would be. So first, let's just go around and talk about like a property you think would make a good video game. Any comic book, no restrictions. There's some low-hanging fruit here, I think, but there's comics. There's so many kinds of comics. But what do you think is a good thing to adapt and that would sell? Just based on franchise value. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy game coming. Avengers just dropped. There's always 2 or 3 Batman games in development. There's a sequel to Spider-Man coming. So, obviously this is a niche of comic books or video games that's going to keep going. So, what would you pitch?
Oh, I got one. If you don't, Ant.
Go for it.
Well, you all have to have one. So
yes.
Okay. So I would do a relaunch of G.I. Joe. A video game based off of G.I. Joe. Like I remember the Nintendo game growing up, and nostalgia is hitting hard right now. And then the first one could be since Snake Eyes is coming out, you could do something later if it's a hit or miss or whatever. People still want to buy merchandise for it, right? So and if the video game does well, then they could like potentially keep on making movies, and then you can expand the whole G.I. Joe universe. There's so many characters to choose from, So
I'd be a little bit worried about G.I. Joe. Like for as old and as popular as it seems, like the movies don't seem to do that well. I've been reading comics a long time, and I couldn't name 5 of the characters, and I've read some G.I. Joe. I wonder if there's familiarity there. I think it's a good idea. I don't know that it's a selling idea.
But I mean, those action figures they sell out. Like all the
time. Yeah, but
like,
action figures are a niche market. Like, show me a premium format figure that Hasbro does that doesn't sell out. Marvel Legends, Lightning Collection, But the Hasbro one, the G.I. Joes are especially good, so I'm not surprised.
So what if we do this then? So right now we're picking our property. If you guys are just joining us, what we're doing is we're building our perfect video and that we want to see made. Not saying that these are being made, but it's kind of our wish list. And Yee's property that he just chose is G.I. Joe. Comment in the area off to the side, little comments if you're in or out on that type of video game. But my pick, and this is going to be super lame, but only because when we get to the details on building the backbone of the game, it gets interesting. But I'm going to go with the Star Wars franchise. We haven't had a good game from them since Knights of the Old Republic. And I disagree.
I disagree, but I agree that that's a good game.
Well, okay. What was the last one? Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed.
Jedi.
The redhead.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Is that what it was? Okay, that was solid too. But they're all kind of the same. I'm going to put a twist on mine, but I'm going to take the Star Wars property for now. It's super marketable. People love it. It's timeless. They got Disney Plus shows. Kids are getting in with the Bad Batch stuff. So I think that's a good seller. Plus, I want to give it something different they haven't done before.
Okay. I'm gonna go a little more risky, but not quite as risky as G.I. Joe, and say a Black Panther game.
Hey, okay, I'm with you.
That movie made $1.3 billion. I think there must be a market, right? If it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with it. So you're okay. What drove you to Black Panther though? Just because popularity?
Honestly,
you're thinking of mechanics.
Assassin's Creed Origins, there's a mission where you got like a cat helmet where you looked like a cat, and that's what I played with for the whole thing. And I was just like, this is a Black Panther game.
That's awesome.
You're sneaking around with weapons and shit. And I did the side quest to get like the meteor sword, so like it was like a vibranium sword kind of.
Oh.
This is the whole thing. It's like I already created the game.
It's done. This is a deal.
I'm not modded Assassin's Creed.
Ooh, I have a backup one too.
No, you don't get a backup one. I want to hear it.
He deserves a backup.
Let's hear your honorable mention, but you got to stick with G.I. Joe now.
Okay, yeah, G.I. Joe's gonna be my choice, but I just realized there was another one I came up with before we got into the conversation. Spawn would be a good one.
Spawn had a terrible game, so they're due for a good one.
And a couple terrible movies and animated things. Like actually, the HBO animated series or movie wasn't that bad.
Well, so here my pitch though. McFarlane's building up the Spawn universe. Like you could branch out different games, like a gunslinger Spawn, like normal Spawn. Yeah. So
like the Spider-Man one where you get to fight for different outfit unlocks.
Yeah, but then also
Shattered Time or whatever.
Yeah, but then you've already had Spawn in like mainstream video games like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that.
Yeah. But like a guest. Like I don't know if he's running his own game. And for as many Spawn comics as there have been, 300 plus now, I just don't think Spawn sells that well. Like it's a McFarlane passion project, but it's not like when it doesn't have an anniversary issue with 1,000 covers, it's not selling like 1 million copies an issue.
Yeah, but all those low dipped issues, like people go back and like, oh, do you have this one? Do you have this one?
Because they're collecting for the rarity.
Is that right, Ant?
They do. I mean, issue pre-100, 125 and less. Usually those are pretty well sought after. For some reason, there's 1,000,008s and 13s, which is odd to me.
It starts out really high, then it dips down, then it goes back up.
Low print runs. So from issue 50-ish on to the mid 100s, they're really extremely low print runs.
Like I would say right before.
Spawn is its own episode. We're going to come back to it.
Right. Okay. All right. So now we've got our property that we want to build said games out of. Let's get into the genre of game.
All right,
does anyone want to kick off? Okay,
I'll go first. I want a semi-open world RPG.
Okay.
Right. Similar to Assassin's Creed. Right. You have a story you got to follow, but there's some other shit you can do out in the world to get better equipment or special equipment to kind of see the nooks and crannies of Wakanda and like the surrounding tribes. Go up to the mountains where the gorilla tribe people are. Go down to I don't know how familiar everyone is with Wakanda and the surrounding areas, but like it's really diverse in the comics. Like there's a lot of different landscapes, and there's also the sort of dream realm where the panther spirits live.
That's cool.
So like there's a lot of opportunity, and like I said, as I was playing Assassin's Creed, like I kept seeing the parallels, and I was like, there's no reason why this could be a great video game if it had a great story.
That's nice. Okay, I'm going to go next. So mine would be, obviously it's sci-fi, but I want mine to be also open world. But here's my twist. I want there to be classes. Actually, we're just doing the genre right now. So sci-fi, obviously, but I want to add a horror element to mine. I know that's super un-Disney for a Star Wars book, but there's some dark backstabbing, and that's some Game of Thrones shit just in space. So I want to be definitely a little more mature. So sci-fi, maybe just a mature rating, not so much horror. Star Wars game. That would be my genre. Yeezy.
So since it's G.I. Joe, I would do like a third-person shooter where you're in the open world, but then you have side missions where it changes into like a first-person shooter, like where you do a side mission where it's did
you play Metal Gear 5?
I did not.
That would be the exact right format for a G.I. Joe game.
I was just thinking that.
Okay. 65 missions, you go in and out of them. You've got something to do each mission. Maybe how you handle the mission is different based on which character you're using.
That'd be cool aspect.
But I kind of want to put a twist to it because like you have all those different like army battle games like Call of Duty or Battlefield and all that. So I kind of want to put some sort of mixture into that so you could do like a multiplayer later.
Yeah.
Or even a battle royale kind of thing.
So now that you're getting into your specifics, now we have our genres, we have our property. Yeezy, keep going on your specifics. So now, how is your game gonna run? You talking the third-person shooter, different missions, like
right. So like you have your main storyline, and then you can break off into do like your menu, like choose like if you go into this section of the map, then you're gonna do like a specialized mission where you're doing a 2-on-2 battle or something like that, or 1-on-1. And then if you go around like traveling in whatever G.I. Joe vehicle, or kind of like a GTA kind of style, like where you're traveling to different sections and doing different side missions, and then it's like, oh, here's a sniper challenge or whatever, something like that. And then, but still with like the classic G.I. Joe stuff, like you're shooting lasers, or all of a sudden like you're Snake Eyes and you have to fight Storm Shadow. I know it's going to be like super expensive to produce something like that, but like if it's short enough, I think it could be like done tastefully.
There you go, done tastefully. I like that. So Gogol, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on this because I answered the last question wrong. But I do it as a semi-open world RPG where you get to explore all of Wakanda and the surrounding kind of tribes or nations or whatever you want to call them. But I would do it sort of. It would have to be very story driven, right? Like I want to see T'Challa, I want to be T'Challa, I want to experience T'Challa's world. Like I want it to be immersive, which I think is the one thing that I didn't get from Assassin's Creed is like you could play that whole game, do the missions, and never have to know any of the story, right? You can skip almost all the cutscenes because there are a lot of them. Every time you get a mission, some dude has to stop and talk and like nope, hitting the X button, skipping that. But so that means the story's got to be precise, right? It's got to be just the right amount. It can't be because cutscenes can't be too long. There can't be too many of them. Like I love Metal Gear, but like 30 hours of cutscenes in a single game is like it might be pushing it, right? So like really tight story told really tightly that delivers on the goods when it comes to storytelling.
I love it. All right, mine would be RPG, open world, obviously. Kind of some of the same things you touched on where I want specific things to do, but I would break mine into DLCs off the bat, which is weird. So follow me on this one.
All right.
Because I want options. I love options. Create a character. I want it to be me. Like being T'Challa is great, but I'd rather play as a version of myself that looks like me. I think that's super awesome when you can immerse yourself. So I thought if it's Star Wars property, it'd be great to be a smuggler, a Jedi, because not everybody wants to be the cop. I want to make some bad decisions. I want to shoot a guy in the back in the game just for fun, in between snack breaks. So I thought you could break it into 2 DLCs, smuggler, Jedi. So the game mechanics are already laid out. You just buy the cop you want, kind of like Pokemon. It's like red and blue.
Yeah, red and blue. Okay.
You got it. So
you could just make Knights of the Old Republic, which has like both built in.
Right. But here, I want it to be story specific for the character. So that's why I was thinking side DLC, because the cutscenes would have to be different and everything. Yeah. And it's just a flip flop. If you pick the Jedi, your space cop, and you get to pick a companion as your buddy, first mate, whatever, but it could be an alien. You can design him up. Or the flip flop, you're a smuggler Han Solo type, but you got a disgraced Jedi as your bodyguard. That's your first mate. And I like that idea better because I was thinking it'd be kind of cool to have like Jedi's chasing you because you've done bad or good. So you got a homie to get your back while you go through and wreck house and just travel around and cause mayhem. Rated T for teen.
Let me know if you need investors.
Doesn't that sound fun?
I'm sold.
Well, because I think
you need one more class though to add.
Yeah, I couldn't think one. I was thinking 3, and I thought it'd be cool. You start off with some clinky ass ship. You got to upgrade or steal it.
Think about it like this: like if you have Jedi on the far good end of the spectrum, you've got smuggler as the kind of gray area. Sith. Add Sith on the far end of the other.
Ooh, just go all in dark side.
Yeah, but again, you're just making KOTOR.
The light side, the dark side, and making your way. I like it. But yeah, that would be my my layout. Mechanics, like if you had to compare it to a game and how it would move, I'm thinking Gogol and I are more on the Assassin's Creed side on how it would play and move.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a little bit of the Arkham series too, like a little more sneaking. Like the one thing I noticed about this Assassin's Creed Origins was like you didn't really have to be an assassin. Like which and like the cutscenes, like in the present with the Animus, like there were almost none of them. Like it almost felt like it wasn't meant to be an Assassin's Creed game, and that they just did a little tweaking to make it into one. But I would want to, obviously not have any Assassin's Creed bullshit in there, but sneaking, because I feel like Black Panther, Panthers slink, right? They hunt prey. So I want some of that. I want shadows. I also want like badass, like fast fighting, right? Like vibranium claws, and they whip, and you just see like the slash of purple light. Now you don't actually see what he did, right? Like
kind of like those button combos where it's almost like an animation, but it's still you're attacking. Like you click, boom, boom, and he's like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. It's gotta be dope visually, but I want it to be cell shaded.
Would it be like one of those situations where like someone's trying to slash you and you have to hit like a certain button combination to actually succeed?
Never any button events. Never. Fuck all of those take me out of a game so much because the button is giant on the screen. No, but in terms of visuals, because it's going to be part of the style of play, I'm thinking we go with the cell animation, like the most recent Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So it's a little more cartoony. It's boxy. It's got like that comic booky, like line art look to it. Ultimate Spider-Man looked like that. A few, some of the Transformers games looked like that. I think one was called Ultimate Destruction, maybe. I don't know, but like that. If you're gonna make a comic book game, like bring me into a comic book, you know?
Okay, I like
so
it.
lo-fi it.
Yeah, that
way
you you don't have to worry about graphics, right?
So, have you guys ever played a game called Mass Effect?
Yeah, I love Mass Effect.
I have
love them. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm talking a spacey game anyway. I would use the Mass Effect outline. I like the ships. I like how you move around. The interfaces. It's badass. The scenery, because space games should be cinematic, not cinematic.
Cinematic, yeah.
Is that the same thing? You look out the windows, you want to see stars and galaxies and shit, and it's supposed to look fucking badass as you cruise by. So I would definitely like, if you have not played a Mass Effect game, check them out. Mass Effect Andromeda was the last one. I played all of them straight through. They're fantastic. But the movements are a little boxy.
Skip Andromeda. It wasn't that good. But Mass Effect 1 through 3 just got remastered on PlayStation 4 and Xbox. You can get them all 3 games for like $40.
Very quick. My Mass Effect Andromeda, easy. I finished the game, right? I'm playing, and then I end a quest, and it's like credits. I'm like,
the fuck?
No light. It just ends. And I was like, did I win? It was super lame.
When you bought it. When you paid for that game, you lost.
Have you been to a Dave and Buster's and play that Star Wars game where you're in the pod and then you're like flying a ship or whatever?
Yeah.
Those are pretty fun. Badass. Yeah. So I mean, I think Star Wars is like due for a like a vehicle. I mean, I know they have one. I never played it. I have heard mixed reviews about it, but I think they're due for vehicle.
If you're talking about Star Wars Pod Racer, that is the greatest Star Wars game ever made.
I mean, that's a pretty fun one, but it's a more recent one where you're playing certain missions, like you're on Endor or whatever.
So it's a part of a mission.
Probably Battlefront.
But if you guys remember
there
you go, Battlefront. Yeah. If you guys remember, Gogol remembers because he's played Mass Effect. But the cool thing with Mass Effect E was as you completed the game, you picked up different alien companions, and they all had special abilities. You had a brawler, you had a sniper, you had so
in space.
Basically, yeah. So you would have to pick who you're taking with you. And you got them early. It wasn't a grind. Like you had your characters within the first couple levels. You had your team set, and then you got to pick who to take with you per mission, depending on what you were doing.
Yeah, a lot of variety.
And it's a fun because I'm like, all right, I'm going to land on this planet. There's going to be a lot of shooting. I'm going to take my sniper, and you got to really think it out, which was awesome. But it's quick. It's like you jump in the ship.
So basically, what you're telling me is that you're creating the Star Wars Rebels video game.
Pretty much, pick your team and go. And once you've picked your DLC, all right.
I dig it.
I think we're on to something here, guys. All right, so that was our property.
Hit us up, George Lucas, if you'd like us to produce this video.
Right.
I think Disney needs to okay that one now.
Oh yeah, I forget.
Exactly. Now, if you had to sell your video game as let's say it came in like a box set, sometimes they do that when it comes with promotional items.
Oh yeah, like the pre-order bonuses.
Yeah. What kind of items would you guys include in your pre-order box set release?
I don't know like what works and what doesn't work. I've not paid attention to that too much. I feel like statues are usually a pretty good go-to with those things. Helmets too. I think Halo had a full-size helmet that came with one of the releases.
Yeah.
So Black Panther's prime for some of that stuff, like a straight up Black Panther mask that you could wear. Maybe if there was like a motion control component to my game, like maybe some like gloves you could wear that like where you could like slash it. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. But cool. Like the low hanging fruit seems like a statue.
There you go. Okay.
12-inch statue.
I like that.
So I think most video game players, I would say probably like maybe like 5% actually like comics also. 10%. I don't know. So a comic would be a pretty cool choice for G.I. Joe, but I know like half of them are going to get thrown away or no one's going to care about it. But until 5 years later or 10 years later.
Put a first appearance in that comic book, half of them will get trashed, print run will get halved, and then you'll know, so you'll have like 50 of them.
Right.
Or it's a long con.
Yeah. Or, since it's G.I. Joe, one of the recreating a classic action figure background with the character popping out.
Like a diorama.
Yeah. And then so something like that, I think would be pretty popular.
I like it.
With either like a new character that's in the video game or something that's related to like the current comic run.
Pretty cool. Okay. So I'm actually a big fan of these when you get the soundtrack with your game, especially if it's got a great soundtrack. So mine would include a limited edition soundtrack. I was thinking some type of
vinyl or CD.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Yep.
No, it'd come on the paper. It's like a code and MP3 download you'd get. No.
Add it to your Spotify account for free.
Add it to your Spotify account for free. Isn't that great? And I thought some swag. You need some swag. So maybe like some type of medallion for whatever DLC you picked, and it's the Sith one, the
Star Wars stress ball.
Star Wars stress ball. That's what I was thinking. Some type of swag. You get a limited edition, coin medallion that you wear on some cool piece of leather looking thing, depending on which DLC you bought.
I know it. If you pre-order, you get shit in the game that nobody else can get. Right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So other Black Panther. I don't want to say Black Panther skins because that sounds like I'm, promoting hunting.
Hunting. No.
But character skins. Stuff like that. Weapons for G.I. Joe, or maybe an unpopular character who you can throw in there. Yeah,
but like a niche crowd likes, or
Duke,
or no, what was that villain that the action figure turns blue or whatever when you put it in the sun?
For G.I. Joe.
Yeah,
you are the only person who's.
I have no idea.
Is it
like
Xandar?
Cobra Commander? Oh,
no.
with the silver face.
Yeah, no, not the silver face.
You're talking about.
Someone in the audience might know.
Let us know in the comments if you know what the hell is going on anymore.
Hey, I got it. If you pre-order my game, included in my box set is a special side mission where you have to assassinate Jar Jar Binks.
Or how about this?
Gogol's pre-ordering.
Or if you choose,
that's your game. That's your game. The game you described.
Jar Jar?
No, the game you described. But you're either Jar Jar as a smuggler or Jar Jar as a Jedi, and you have to become the best at that.
No, Jar Jar as a Sith, man.
I know there's that spec. I was about to say that.
Yeah, Jar Jar is a Sith. Yeah, so I mean, he's the greatest Sith master ever. So you would have to have that mission in there.
Way to take my game from sounding awesome to sounding terrible.
Well, look how many Star Wars. I mean, look how many Star Wars fans love that Jar Jar. They've recreated the Black Series figures.
Do they love it?
Yeah, they've been buying the Black Series figures and repainting them into Darth Jar Jar. Yes, there we go. Zartan. There we go. I knew it started with a Z.
Zoltan. Right? No.
Zoltan from Big. No. Was it Big? It's not Big. Zoltan.
No.
Dude, where's my car?
Yeah. Dude, where's my car? Yeah.
Zoltan.
Dude, where's my spaceship?
I'm missing something. Am I missing a category? Because our games sound fairly complete now.
You know what? Let's throw one last one in there just to make it really comic booky. Who are you having from the comic book world illustrate your cover art for your game?
Ooh.
I'll go first. I'm going to say Mark Brooks. Mark Brooks and or Jen Bartel, depending on how we want to market the game. I think Jen would make really nice cel-shaded art with a lot of color pops, stuff like that. Black Panther's world has a lot of purple in it, so she'd be great for that. But Mark Brooks is going to make just a cool ass cover that most people are going to be like, oh, that looks dope. So I can go either way.
I like that. All right, for my main cover game for the masses that get ordered, Boss Logic would have to do my cover art. And then for my box set, limited edition box set, Matt Taylor. You guys familiar?
Nope.
So he does movie posters, but he does them kind of psychedelic, like ones you hold against black lights, really bright colors. He did Future State Wonder Woman #1. That was the one with the first appearance of the Brazilian Wonder Woman. He did a DC, like a team variant for them. But he does some badass movie posters. Look up Matt Taylor. But that would be my limited edition.
I'm looking up Matt Taylor right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think my characters are, it's already chosen. I really can't go outside the box because, so it's Larry, obviously. And then the backup artists are special edition version. I'm going to have to go with my boy Liefeld. I mean, he's already done Snake Eyes. You know what I mean? Like,
are you trying to get kicked off this show?
Oh my God! Yes, thank you.
I mean, I have to choose those those artists because they're already contracted to do all that stuff. And then like especially if I'm already getting permission from them, like, hey, can you do art for this?
I'm going to change my answer actually, and I'm going to bring up somebody's art because I think that this is it.
Did you like Matt Taylor after you looked though?
Yeah, Matt Taylor was a good pick.
Yeah,
I think so. This might be a little outside the box, but I think that this is.
I like outside the box. Hit me with it.
Let me bring up the right tab. All right, so this is an artist I really like, Tom Whelan. You might recognize his stuff from a lot of stuff. He does a lot of the Mondo posters. I found him primarily because he does the art for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection boxes. But if you scroll down, like something like this.
Okay. Some purples and stuff like that. The hard lines for shadows. I like that.
Yeah, nice. that would be dope.
Did the Matt Taylor color palette kind of put this guy in your mind?
And more the minimalist, like because I was talking like a cell shaded game, and he's also done a lot of posters for comic book properties that are also video games, like Mega Man. So I don't know that this would be a selling point, but like if I was making like the perfect game for me, this would be up there for me.
I could totally see that.
Like I mean, like look at this Godzilla. Like these are iconic.
Yeah.
I dig it. I don't know. That's just me. All right. You can cut those off.
Hey, it's your game. You get to pick what you want. Fuck.
All right. Let me give you a real answer that's not like, slated to the property already. I would choose, if I could choose anyone, I would either go with Tyler Kirkham or Mike Mayhew, whoever I could afford.
Mayhew would be a very good choice.
Yeah.
I mean, they've both done G.I. Joe covers and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd win with both of those. All right. Well, that was our perfect video game, guys. We've each built one. Don't be afraid to hurt anybody's feelings by saying mine was the best. I think my co-hosts kind of agreed. They all want to help me.
It would be the first time you've won in the history of this show. So.
Dude, I'll take my dubs. I'll take them where I can get them.
I will mail you a paper crown.
Do it. I will rock it.
He's going to repaint that Burger King one.
I'm going to have to. I threw away the other paper crowns we had. But yeah.
Because you wouldn't have to send them.
Right?
Oh, right. I'll give you directions where you can go pick it up.
Oh, God. I'll go get my own paper crown. But yes, that was Build a Video Game. Hopefully you guys had fun. Hopefully you got your memory jogged. Dig back in the crates again, guys, and find those games that we used to love as kids and love them recently. That sounded dirty. Love them when we were kids. Yeah. Let's keep moving.
Or if they're
love them like you mean it.
Or if they're still sealed, make sure to send them to CGC. Get them graded.
Oh, gosh. Do not take more of their time, please. We've got books tied up there. I
have no comment.
All right. So as we cruise, of course, if you guys have not done so, make sure you go back. We posted the What We're Eating video with our picks of the week, what we're looking forward to reading, all the goodies. We do this for, well, I don't want to say we all do this for a living, but Gogol does this, make some money. I make some money. Easy. You flip some books, you make some money. So we know a thing or two. Check out our picks. Give them a couple reads. Let us know what you think. Who was the mess up this week?
I think it was all of us. It was Yi trying to say, Jeffe. Here we go. Now we got another one. There's a great one of us all saying it, but me getting it right.
Yeah. And then
are you guys kidding me right now?
No, we're not. We lost.
I was waiting to watch the Suns game, and my kids just came in and told me we lost. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Because I haven't watched them on a freaking pot. Oh my God.
Well, Ant just had no more kids left.
And moving on, so
so if you haven't watched What We're Eating, go check that out. Ant had some really good picks this week. It was probably the highlight of his week.
Shut up.
Do you want the details? I got them up.
And then make sure to check out what our non-comic picks of the week were too, and let us know if you're picking up those unique items.
Yes, let us know what you're reading so that we know what to read. We have a very special episode next week. Maybe we're trying to finalize the details still, so we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and announce it just yet. And cover our butts in case we can't lock it down. So just be on the lookout for that. We will let you guys know when we know, but it will probably be a pretty epic episode. And if not, we just tied ourselves to that idea and we're going to have to make it happen. So tune in next week. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the little button under the screen that says subscribe. And if you aren't following us on Instagram, he's putting up some pretty good stuff there every once in a while. Go check that out. We're looking to.
Oh, I'm gonna do a haul. I'm gonna do a haul video of what I picked up at this last Comic-Con on our Instagram. So I'll just thumb through some books I picked up just to see what what I picked up in Houston.
Yeah, he was telling us about that on Sunday. Sort of some of the deals he was finding, some of the strategies he was using to pick up books. Give him the rundown on that when you're going through it, and then get some tips from the pro collector.
There you go.
All right, so yeah, subscribe, follow, and if you're subscribed and you haven't, hit the bell. We're like I said, we keep track of this just because we want you guys to know when we're on. We're at like 20-25% of people who are subbed have also signed up for notifications. Hit the bell, get the notifications, don't miss an episode. We're at the end of the episode, and our viewing count is the highest of the episode so far. It's been ticking up since we started. A lot of people coming in late. If you don't want to come in late, you don't want to miss the beginning of the episode or the whole episode, make sure you got that little bell clicked.
Damn right. Fucking sons.
All right. And like we said at the beginning of the episode, we're inching closer to that 900 giveaway. Which is a double giveaway now. It'll be this Sam Wilson Captain America #1 hip hop cover variant, along with the Something Is Killing the Children 8th print, a really clean copy from what it looks like. Those will be bundled together if we hit 900 by the end of the episode 23, 2 weeks from tonight.
I'm going to go ahead and send it off to Red Hood Comics for pressing, just so we can also see the results of what happens from this book that got damaged for me. And then, and then I have a
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's supposed to be crispy ready, ready for grading if you're into that things. But, what are you going to say?
Until we hit 900, guys, I'm going to throw in a giveaway every show. But I only give it away if we hit the 900 during that show. And we'll pick a comment. We'll do like a live giveaway. So keep that in mind. Since we're at 20 views right now and climbing, make sure you guys do all the things Gogol told you to do. We're getting to 900. Come back for the next show, because if I get 20 more subs between now and then, we're going to give something away live. I got cool shit everywhere, so I'll come with something good.
Yeah. Tell your friends. All right. Get up to 900 and then unsub at the beginning of the episode and then sub as soon as we start. Like, I don't care.
Right.
Game the shit out of the system, but let's get there, because I want this Kanto out of my house when we hit 1,000.
Oh yeah. We'll get it there. Somebody's gonna own that bad boy.
Yeah, listen, this is episode 21. We already got almost 900 subs. I feel like that's still a lot better than most channels, so I'm not too mad about it.
Yep, I dig that all day.
40 subs an episode, 42 subs an episode, average.
Shit. Take it.
Doing all right.
Sean hit me up on Instagram, but also realized that there is a trade coming out with all 15 issues coming out pretty soon.
Is that true? Like all 15 in one, like a little compendium?
Yeah, where it's like there's a hardbound one, and then there's
like the deluxe hardcover.
Yeah.
I will be getting that.
Nice. Yeah, I've got the 3 trades. I just put the 3rd one on the shelf yesterday.
Yep, I got mine over there. I'm rereading them right now, but yeah, that'll be cool to have. All right, quick round table, guys. If you're just joining us, sorry you missed it. We're at the end. We did build a video game, talked a little history. Make sure you go back and watch it. Recommend some video game buffs so they can tell us what we missed, because there are a lot of cool things we didn't cover. But put a bow on it for me. Collector Yeezy, any nuggets of wisdom before we head out of here for the night?
Man, it's kicking me back to, playing video games, like trying to dust off and remember exactly like what video games I was playing, like what were actually based on like comic books and stuff like that. Hit my nostalgia.
There you go, Frank.
Right. You know what? I'm gonna draw a line in the sand tonight, and I don't know when it'll happen. It's someday, somehow, something I write will be adapted into a video game, and that's on my bucket list. So
cool.
What's today? The 20th of July 2021.
The decree has been made.
I said it right now.
I like that. That's cool. I'll just keep wishful thinking about video games that I wish were being made. Hopefully somebody makes them.
Wish I had time to play them.
Right? Even if I got my game, I got to go and bag and board 4,000 Moon Knight books. But that being said, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Come back, sub us. We're almost at 900. Until next time, stay hungry, y'all.
Thank you for showing up.
Peace out, guys.